You're listening to the Multiverse Fan Cast, proud member of the Misfit Faction Media Network.
All right, then. On with the show.
Hello and welcome back to the Multiverse Fan Cast. Don't forget, you can take us on the go wherever you go with Podbean, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, or any other listening stations. You can also check out our content on themisfitfaction.com, where we've got reviews, pictures, all of our podcasts, archives, as well as our sister podcasts of Cinematic Adventures and MF Uncensored. You should check those out. As always, I'm glad you're here because I'm Rob. How am I? I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. And to my left is a very befuddled Paul. Paul, how are you?
Let me Google befuddled first, and we'll see where I'm at. I'm good, Rob. Thank you for making a lot of creepy eye contact during your intro and speaking very slowly.
Any kind of smoldering looks I can throw your way, I'm happy to do so.
Smoldering is not the word I would use.
And also with us today in the studio, as always, is the ever-reliable Ronnie. Ronnie, how are you today?
I'm doing well, sir. How about you?
I'm excited to be here because today we are discussing what's coming up in 2022 in terms of movies and television. We have done our homework, all of us, and we have prepped, and we are ready to go. And I'm getting some maybe not. But we are all excited with the number of properties that are coming out this year, both in film and television, and we're going to run through a lot of them, and then we are going to talk about which ones we're most excited about and least excited about. But first comes the news with Paul today. Paul, tell us all about what's going on in the world that apparently I don't know anything about.
I don't have any news. No, seriously.
There is no news.
I don't know what he's talking about. No, I'm just kidding. We do have some exciting news, and this is podcast related. This isn't even comic book or superhero movies or anything like this. The Multiverse Fan Cast was selected by Podbean to be an official affiliate of Podbean. So for those of you guys who have been interested, I know we've actually had people reach out to us about starting podcasts, about being involved with podcasts, and how to do it and how to get going with it. We have learned by a lot of trial and error 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 and
there was another error.
Stuck on error?
Yeah.
I was erroring. But anyway, we've learned a lot. We've been doing this for quite some time, and it's been, a fun process for us to learn, but we'd really be interested in helping other people. We've talked to a lot of podcasters, especially if you guys listen to MF Uncensored. We've been doing a lot of interviews with other podcasters. So if you guys are interested in starting a podcast and want to get started, you can actually use our link, our affiliate link, to get a head start on it. And yeah, if you go to www.podbean.com/multiverse, you'll actually have access to, I believe it's an unlimited hosting plan to start off. So give that a try, and you can always reach out to us. And we're always looking for more podcasts to add to the Misfit Faction, and we would love to have you guys. So that's podbean.com/multiverse. If you guys are really looking for to go bigger, you can also do podbean.com/pro/multiverse.
Well, that is really exciting. Mm-hmm. That is super fun, and that will take us in a lot of great and interesting directions with this podcast. And thank you for all of you out there who are listening to us actively on a regular basis, because we love the support and we love the love.
Speaking of the support,
let's continue with Paul.
If any of you guys are also interested in becoming an official sponsor for any of our podcasts, a Multiverse Fan Cast does not have an active sponsor besides Raise Energy, which we love Raise Energy. I had one before this. But MF Uncensored has had sponsors. If you guys are interested in something like that, you can also go to sponsorship.podbean.com/multiverse and learn a little bit more about how we do our sponsorships, how we get people involved. We also, unlike a lot of other podcasts, we don't only just promote on the show itself, we also promote on our website, on our Facebook. We do reviews, we do all sorts of things. You can also check out our very first book review on the misfitfaction.com at the Misfit Corner, and that's Neil Getzlow's book Unmasked.
And whose review is that?
I wrote that one.
Wow, very nice.
I wrote that one.
Very articulate, I may add.
I try. I actually do thoroughly enjoy writing. It's just sitting down and actually doing it that just gets me.
The process sometimes.
Yeah, the process. But now I'm done with news.
Well, that is very exciting. And so when we come back after this commercial break, we'll start discussing some of our big stuff that is coming up in the new year and how excited we are for it. So let's take a quick commercial break.
Today's episode is brought to you by Raise Energy Drinks from Rep Sports. Whether you're trying to crush your afternoon workout or just need a little extra pick-me-up, Raise Energy is just the boost that you're going to need. So if you go to repsports.com and any product that you order, enter the code MISFIT89 at checkout to receive 15% off. Anything that you guys buy from that store helps our network grow, and we fully appreciate everything you guys do. That's MISFIT89 at checkout, repsports.com.
And we're back. Thanks for joining us. So today we're going to be talking about all the things that are coming out over the next year. And what I thought I would do is first I wanted to start off with starting in order the things that are not on my list. And I want to see if they are on your list for interesting things. So
now, hold on. Disclaimer.
Disclaimer.
We are recording this on the 14th of January.
Yes.
Some of the things on this list have already started in the last week or two.
Which is my very first thing on this list.
That's fair. So just keep in mind that one or two of these things have started, but we're still doing. It's our show. We can do whatever.
It's 2022, so I mean, it's still new for this year,
and most of it has only been on episode 2, 3 at the most.
Yeah.
So,
and if you don't like it, get your own podcast
and use our affiliate link.
So first, and this is not on my list, and I have to say this would have changed if I had made this list before I'd seen it, and that's Peacemaker. So Peacemaker is out. The first 3 episodes have come out. They're on HBO Max. And it is not in my list of top 10 because in watching the trailers, I was like, whatever. It didn't seem that interesting. I love James Gunn, but this just didn't seem like it was his vibe very much. They released 3 episodes.
He literally wrote and directed it. How is it not
But it
his
just
vibe?
didn't seem like his other stuff. Like, even his older stuff, like Slither, it didn't even seem like it was, it seemed too John Cena-ish, if you know what I mean by that. It just seemed...
He couldn't see it.
Yeah. So they released the first 3 episodes. I've seen the first episode. Paul, you've seen the first episode too. Ronnie, you have seen the opening credits.
He's seen trailers for it.
Is this now on your list?
Yes. Okay. Well, I was excited to begin with about it because anything DC, I'm a DC guy. I'm excited for DC stuff.
You're down to DC?
I am down to DC. My number one, just spoiler alert, is a DC. My number 2 is a Marvel. So
I bet you I can guess what those 2 are, but I'm not going to
That's fair. Yeah, we'll get there.
Because I bet you they're my top 2 also.
Yeah. So I was afraid that this episode was going to turn into Marvel vs. DC Part 3 or Part 4.
Whatever it is.
27.
We should do that again this year. I think we should make that an annual thing.
I think it should revive itself every year just because it changes so much.
We should do a multiverse battle. Oh, see, I'm going to write this down. Keep going.
So you've seen Peacemaker. Thoughts on it? Having seen it?
Having seen the first episode, I thought it was just a blast, a great time. I think HBO Max was the perfect medium for it. I think it is just what their channel needed. It's what Titans could have been. Even though I do enjoy Titans, I think that Peacemaker is a wild ride.
I watched it yesterday with my 13-year-old in the room. Which made it a little deeply uncomfortable because I will say this is not a family show. It is not a family show in the slightest. There were so many moments where it wasn't even the sex scenes that were deeply uncomfortable. It was
deep.
So many of the other things that were said or done.
Yeah, we will not repeat some of that. It's very rare that we get a show or a movie where we have to be like, we can't say what was said.
No, and I believe I'm going to be writing a review on this show, but I don't know how yet.
That's fair.
I will say, having seen the first episode now, I just can't wait to just sit down and watch the next 2. So I think it would have been higher on my list if I made it after seeing the first episode. But now, is that on your list?
I mean, I got to get HBO Max first, but yes, I would say out of everything that is coming out, that would definitely be in my top 10. I don't know where exactly, but it's definitely in the top 10 of, all 30 million shows and the 9 to 10 movies that are coming out this year.
Okay. So next, not on my list. And now what I'm doing is I'm going in the order that they're coming out this year that are things not on my list. So I have next.
These are things that Rob has no excitement for.
No excitement for. Morbius.
Yeah, we kind of figured that. If you've listened to any of our episodes.
I was going to say, I think that's on all of our.
Oh yeah.
You know what? I will not lie. I am intrigued, not excited.
Yes.
Intrigued. I need to see this vampire train wreck.
What intrigues you? Oh, so the fact that it could be a vampire train wreck.
I think it's going to be a vampire train wreck.
I was just saying, if I made a top 10 off of what I'm most intrigued to see, this would make the top 10 of intrigued to see, just based on the fact that it's like we have these super low expectations. So I'm intrigued to see if it goes above that, because I feel like it can't go below our expectations.
We're already talking like a 1 or a 2.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know, so that's why I would say top 10 most intriguing.
And I guarantee we're all going to be there opening weekend. We'll probably all go together.
Yeah.
And we'll probably just like throw things at the screen.
That's why it's coming out on April 1st, because it's an April Fool's joke.
I don't know. Like, after the success of Spider-Man, I want to see if they changed anything, if they revamped anything, no pun intended. You know,
They add Andrew Garfield to it.
That was a big rumor. Andrew Garfield. No, that was a serious big rumor.
That was a serious
Rumor that
everything's better with Andrew Garfield now, apparently.
Yeah.
Okay, so next on my list of non-interesting things, DC League of Super Pets, coming out May 20th.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I love The Rock. I love Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
I love DC.
I know.
Yeah.
You love Superman.
I love pets.
Who's Superman? John Krasinski, right?
I don't even know who's playing.
Wow, you guys are terrible.
I
So are you.
just know that, and it was said, I think by Ronnie, that it had the stink of The Secret Life of Pets to it. And ever since you said that, I'm like, oh my God, he's 100% right. And I hated that movie so much. And I was so excited to go see that movie. I went with like my family and my in-law, my mother-in-law and everything.
Oh no, Keanu Reeves is in it.
Oh no.
Oh, he's so precious.
See, that's the thing. They have a lot of names tied to it.
Know. Who is he playing?
That's a great question. All right, the cast is Dwayne Johnson as Crypto, which again on paper sounds great. Kevin Hart as Ace, Vanessa Bayer as PB, a pig. Natasha Lyonne as Merton.
I love her.
I do too. Diego Luna as Chip.
I love Diego Luna.
John Krasinski as Superman.
Okay.
Yeah. Mark Maron as Lex Luthor.
Okay.
Additionally, Kate McKinnon, Keanu Reeves, Thomas Middleditch, Ben Schwartz, and Jamila Jamil have been cast in undisclosed roles.
I think they just throw a lot of money at these people and say, "Hey, we'll use your voice," and they figure, "All right, I can show up for like 3 days of voice, stuff, and get paid all this money." I would do it too. I don't blame them.
Oh, I don't either. I think this is going to bring in all the money. Because you're going to get all the families going, because it's pets, it's cute and everything. So you're going to get a lot of families going to the movies to go see this. It's not going to be good. I mean, I'm hoping it's good. I don't
know. We've been pleasantly surprised by things like this before.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it.
It's not the same studio that does Illumination and Despicable Me and Sing and all that stuff.
Again, you guys are asking a lot of questions that nobody was prepared for.
Lots of questions.
I feel like it's the same ones that did Secret Life of Pets, though, because it has the same look.
It
and
does,
feel to
but
it.
I'm not.
Warner Animation Group.
No, so it has nothing to do with them. Because I have to say, like, and well, maybe the fact that it has that same look to it is what pull people in. Because like right now, Sing 2 is pulling in big bucks.
Yes.
And I had no desire to see that, but they've got a corner of the market there.
Yeah.
All right, so next on my list, you're going to be shocked at my next thing here.
Uh-oh.
The next thing on my list that I am not that excited about, The Boys Season 3.
What?
Yeah, I got to say. Get
out of my house.
I'm not saying that I don't enjoy The Boys. I do. I love them. But it's one of those things where it's like, all right, I guess I should sit down and watch it. And then when I'm watching it, I have a blast. I have a good time. But sometimes it's so deeply uncomfortable watching The Boys because of the darkness that they plumb that it's not that enjoyable.
I want to point out that I did not know that plumb could be used as a verb.
See, we're learning things today.
I would
when
also like
host.
to point out that I learned what a verb is this week, and I'm really excited I got to use it.
But the Boys, I love The Boys, so that's in my top 5 for this year, right?
Yeah, I figured.
And
I don't knock it.
Yeah, I'm going through the list that I have here of TV shows.
That last one looks like a winner.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. It's a big wiener, but
I played with the list.
Yeah. See, this is probably up there. This is probably my second or third TV show.
The Boys. Yeah.
On this list that I have here.
Now, is that because of Jensen Ackles?
Partially.
Because I will say that bumps it up for me significantly.
And Jensen Ackles,
and
too.
Jensen. I knew what he meant. That's why I was going with it.
Jensen.
Yeah. That definitely increases it because, again, if you all don't know, we are all big Supernatural fans.
Very much.
Which is where most people got probably introduced to who Jensen Ackles is.
And his brother Jansen.
Yeah, and his brother Jansen. But then also just, I love the show. The first 2 seasons were really good, but we'll see.
So, Paul, you're interested in this is in your top group too?
I love The Boys. I love the ramifications of real life superpowers because everybody thinks it'd be like the coolest thing. But I love The Boys. I find it to be entertaining, and also for me it's TV. Like I can always disconnect. I'm not one of those people that's like, it's so dark and scary, and now my life is so dark and scary. But it's true though. A lot of people have trouble disconnecting, and it's fantasy for me, and I enjoy seeing different facets of it because I'm fascinated by the entire study. Like I can do a whole episode on just superpowers in real life. Maybe I'll write an article. Who knows? I can do whatever I want.
All right.
Yes, you can.
I moderate all this stuff.
I believe in you.
Thanks, man.
No, I watch some of the darker stuff, and I have an existential crisis as a result.
That happens.
It's just, I am excited for it because, first of all, my wife is going to join me in watching The Boys this year because of Jensen Ackles, of course. So I am excited to watch it with her, but it's one of those things where it's like, I'll be excited when it's here, but looking forward to it. If you told me The Boys got delayed from June 3rd to August, I'd be like, okay. So, yeah. All right, next on my list, which you probably won't be shocked to find out that it's not on my top at all, is Black Adam.
Really? I thought you were going to say Aquaman.
That's coming up.
Hey, would you be quiet
We're
down over
going
there?
in order of things coming out. So Black Adam is coming out July 29th right now. I'm sure I know I'll see it. I'm sure when I see it, I'll be like, I'll be as excited as I was for Shazam, which is reasonable, but it's not something I'm terribly looking forward to. You?
I'm very excited for it.
Okay, is it in your top 5?
I think it's borderline right there, but I'm excited because I like Dwayne Johnson. Sometimes it's hard to differentiate Dwayne Johnson from the character he's playing because he's very Dwayne Johnson, just like John Cena as Peacemaker. But this movie's been long in the making. It's got a lot of passion behind it, a lot of grit behind it. He looks fantastic as Black Adam. Also, for me, you got the Justice Society of America being introduced, and we'll see. DC is such a mess right now. It's so hard to get excited about. It's hard to get excited about DC products because the DCEU is just the biggest of messes.
All these timelines, I can't keep track.
It's not even timelines for the DCEU. It's just it's no plan. A severe lack of a plan.
All right, Ronnie?
I'm going to agree with Paul. I'm excited for it, but we don't know anything about it. So like a lot of these movies that we have, we don't know really anything about them. So it's hard to have excitement for them other than the name.
Yeah.
Like Black Adam. We have not seen Black Adam yet. We have not had a mention of him.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting to kind of see him, yes. And then again, it's The Rock. It's Dwayne Johnson.
Okay. I want to talk about that for a second because here's my big concern. The Rock has never... I love him. I absolutely do, and I'm always rooting for him. What great movie, though, has he really been in?
Jumanji.
Now, I wouldn't say
it's not that great.
There's no
It
great
was so much
movies.
better than it was supposed to be.
Yeah, but it's... Agreed.
See, there's no great movies that he's in.
Yeah,
they're all above average to good movies. One of my favorites that he's done is Central Intelligence with Kevin Hart.
Right.
But
He did a movie with Kevin Hart?
Yeah. He's got and then he's got flops.
Yeah, like Rampage.
Fast and all the Fast and Furious, Skyscraper. Like he's got a lot of flops, but it's also, I think people keep putting him in movies because they know he's bringing in $100 million for that.
Elevating the material and the proceeds.
Yeah, he does better when he's in more of a comedic role. Yeah. Like Paul said, Jumanji. I said Central Intelligence. And then when he's more of like an action, like he's used to it from wrestling.
Right. I didn't see Jungle Cruise.
I heard it was very good.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
No. I saw it.
You saw it?
I did see it, yes.
Any good?
I would say it's worth the watch. It's not going to blow you away or anything like that, but it's definitely worth the watch.
Timmy watched it and he said it was just okay.
Yeah. I am one of the only people that will ever defend the movie Baywatch. It was so bad, but I love it. Love it.
All right, so next on my list is the movie Samaritan. What are your thoughts about this movie, Ronnie?
What? Like the Good Samaritan?
Nah, you beat me to it.
No. All right. I'll start with Paul then instead. Paul, what are your thoughts?
I'm not really that interested.
Now, I'm saying
one
this
is.
because neither one of them have heard of this movie, and I have to admit I hadn't heard of it until yesterday either. It is the movie Samaritan. It is coming out August 26th. It is starring Sylvester Stallone. Here's the plot synopsis.
A young boy comes
Yes.
to the real. I did know
A
this
young
one.
boy
yeah.
learns that a superhero who was thought to have gone missing after an epic battle 20 years ago may in fact still be around.
Yes. No, I just looked it up and then I was like,
Okay.
yeah,
Now-
I've seen stuff.
I think the trailer just came out for it. I think.
I know it's not listed on IMDb yet, and I will tell you it's already rated PG-13, which means that the movie is finished and it's existing. Now here's the problem with it: it's coming out on August 26th.
Well, it was supposed to come out last year.
Okay. The problem now, I don't know if you're familiar at all with that last weekend in August.
It's a worse weekend.
Yeah, it's a dumping ground for
Yeah.
studios where they just throw things out there in hopes that someone will watch it, but they have no faith in it whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I don't have a lot of for what I know about this movie,
I mean, you got Sylvester Stallone,
and that's about
and that's about it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's producing it as well, so he's just kind of trying to make some money, I guess.
I'm already getting a Zoom Academy for Superheroes vibes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie was terrible.
I
I'm
love it.
distributed by Universal internationally, at least.
I gotta say, I'll be surprised if it even goes to theaters. If it
Yeah,
doesn't
I
go-
wonder if that's why we haven't seen
Yeah.
a trailer or anything, because it's being distributed in the US by United Artists Releasing. So basically, it's most likely going straight to
Like
streaming
David
or
Hasselhoff,
TV or
he's
something.
huge in Europe.
Yeah, exactly. So
All right, next I have coming out October 7th. It is not on my list, but that doesn't mean I'm not looking forward to it at all. Is Spider-Man Across the Universe. Across
Part one.
the Spider-Verse.
Across the Spider-Verse Part
Part
1.
Wait, you're not excited about that?
I am, but
Oh.
it's not on my list. I have other things I'm more excited for.
Paul's like, that's my top Marvel.
That's my number 2.
That's your number 2?
I am so excited for it.
Whoa, tell me why.
Because he's a Spider-Man geek.
I am. Spider-Man's one of my top superheroes,
Yeah.
He's
like
your
of all
jam?
time. Yeah, I think he is number 2, 3 of my top 5 superheroes. I'd have to go back and
It's a
listen.
Spider Jam.
Yeah, I am a big Spider-Man fan. I grew up on Spider-Man, and I was blown away by Spider-Verse. We still haven't done an episode for it. When this movie comes
Yeah,
out,
we'll do a pre.
we'll do a retro. It's funny when our retros of that, like the movie before the sequel come out, and they do better than the sequel
I know,
episodes.
yeah.
Like our Kingsman episode, which you guys should all listen to. The new one has less listens than the original one. It's the funniest thing. But I am such a big Spider-Man fan. I'm a little nervous just because the teaser, quote unquote, or trailer, whatever you want to call it, came out, and the animation style gets jarringly different. And I was a little annoyed because they show Spider-Man 2099, who I was a big fan of. If you were a '90s kid, the 2099 series was the jam.
Yeah.
I almost said the word I can't say anymore.
Was the schnoz.
The schnoz, yeah. But I'm excited for it. I really am.
All right.
This is in my top 10, but I don't know. It's like towards the bottom of my top 10.
Okay.
Like I just think there's a lot of other things that I'm more excited for than this. But like Paul said, that animation style is what's knocking it down for me.
Knocking it down. You mean when it gets all crazy at the end there?
When it shifts when he goes to the future.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then again, I said the same thing about the first one, where I was like, I don't like the animation style.
Yeah.
See, I loved that.
Until I actually saw the movie. I didn't like it.
See, I was the opposite, where I didn't like it until I saw the movie.
That's what
and
I'm
then
saying.
Oh, okay.
For the first one, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
When
Then
I
I did
saw-
not like it, and then I saw the movie, and I was like, I like this.
Yes, then it's agreed. I'm hoping that craziness is just a few moments in the movie, or
Yeah.
maybe it's just a trailer thing.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Now, Paul's going to be really annoyed at me with this next one. November 4th, The Flash.
That's
I kinda
not on your
figured.
top
Not
10.
excited in the slightest.
Bringing
think-
back Michael Keaton, Supergirl. That's fine. I wouldn't be excited either.
I think because I've been burned by DC so many times in the past for any kind of hype that has come up that I don't want to get excited because it's just
Well, at your age.
See, I'm excited for this.
a guy turns another year and
right.
everyone.
But I'm excited for this just due to the fact that it's coming later in the year. So they have Batman at the beginning, right? And then they can see how the reception is from that and make any tweaks to the Flash. So I have high expectations for the Flash, and it's definitely in my top 10.
Okay. December 16th, again, not in my top 10, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. The first movie for me, I had a decent time watching it, but in retrospect, it is goofy as F.
Mm-hmm.
I am sorry. It is corny and cheesy, and I'm not a fan.
Because, Marvel never does corny and cheesy.
And I will call them out when I think it's corny and cheesy.
And we will promote that episode when it happens.
Yes. I'm going to agree with you. This is not my top 10.
Not in your wheelhouse?
No, it's not. I mean, did I enjoy the first one? Yeah, I would say I enjoyed Aquaman. But I don't know, there's just nothing that really excites me. Again, I think Jason Momoa's perfect casting for Aquaman. So that's the only getting me to be somewhat excited.
For me, that's the opposite. Because I like Jason Momoa, but his dude bro Aquaman is not doing it for me at all. Because I saw him in Dune, and he was wonderful in Dune. Yeah. He was excellent. But my man, no, I can't do it. Paul?
I just really don't want to talk to you guys anymore. No,
this isn't your top 10? Between TV and movies?
I'm excited for Aquaman. I didn't actually make it top 10. Let's just establish this. I didn't do any of the research today. I know all these movies coming out. I know what I'm excited for. But we were supposed to do top 5, and now suddenly we're doing top 10 because Rob...
we got to cover everything that's coming out. I'm host. Yes, we do.
I can press the stop button.
Continue with Aquaman.
I'm excited for it. I found that they found a nice balance for the Aquaman movie of the dark and the goofy and the fun. Mm-hmm. They were able to translate a costume that in all honesty should not have been able to be translated. Mm-hmm. Both not only just with Aquaman but also Ocean Master.
Fair point.
It was one of the better blendings of the two because unfortunately, you look at Joss Whedon's Justice League and they tried to go too goofy. They went too far. Aquaman strikes a better balance for me. So I'm excited for a sequel because the original Aquaman starts off pretty dark with the pirates and him leaving the guy to die. It is, it's a brutal fight scene and it's fantastically done.
And there's the trench.
Yeah, the trench is a scary scene, to the point where it was so popular with audiences that they contemplated doing a movie about it until DC's shakeup. But for me, Aquaman it reminds me of Shazam, where they found a better balance between the gritty darkness of DC and the more fun, lighthearted aspects of it too.
So then the final thing I have here, well, almost, that's not on my list, is the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. It's coming out in December.
It doesn't feel James Gunn enough.
Basically.
Detecting a note of sarcasm there. So it is, I think it's just so far off that I can't think of it. And also knowing that, with shades of the Star Wars Holiday Special. Yeah, I know, I won't spoil anything, but I know you just spoke to somebody that was kind of connected with that a little bit.
Oh, you can say it.
We are allowed to say that?
Yeah,
okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it's no secret. I interviewed Bruce Valanche, who was one of the writers of it. That interview is going to come out, I think, mid-February.
Okay. I wasn't sure if we were holding on to that info or not.
No.
But,
MF Uncensored. Check it out.
Knowing how awful the Star Wars Holiday Special is, I'm afraid they're going to try and mirror it a little too much.
As long as Groot doesn't talk like the Wookiee's talking
for 15 minutes. So, again.
Yeah, see, I didn't even put that on this list because I just don't count it as anything.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because what is it?
Well, I think that's the thing is we don't know.
You know?
It's in the title. It's a holiday special.
But, is it a movie? Is it a TV, a one-off TV show, miniseries?
It could be a half-hour thing. It could be a full movie.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
So,
following in that same vein here is I'm putting this at the end because there is no official date for this. The show I Am Groot.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how they could do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe once we get closer, we'll figure it out. And then also, again, another thing that's not on my list that could be on my list once I see something from it is Batgirl.
Oh, yeah.
So, we know Michael Keaton's in it.
And also Commissioner Gordon.
Oh, right.
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah. So it is part of the DCEU question marks?
Maybe.
Nobody knows. We'll see what happens after Flash.
Yeah. So now I get to my top 10, which I have one that's you'll understand why in a minute, why it's just shy of my top 10, but it's kind of in the top 10. So I put it as 10.5
Basically, this episode is just going to be called Rob's 10.5.
No, it's 11.
And I will tell you, it's something that is not on anyone's radar, but it is for me because I have a personal connection to it, is the cartoon Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I don't know if you know too much about this.
Nope.
But you could look it up yourself, but the reason I have a connection to it is because it was one of the very first things, comic book wise, that Timmy ever read, and he was so into Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, and he was so excited every month, or every couple months when the new issue would come to our house. So I'm really excited for it. It looks like a goofy kind of cartoony, kind of maybe even Teen Titans Go, but for younger kids. So, all right,
I hate Teen Titans Go.
here we go. Ready? Drum roll. Number 10, coming out November 11th, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
That's your number 10? Wow.
That's my number 10.
I thought that was going to be higher for you, to be honest.
I think with more information, maybe.
Yes.
No.
Agreed. I don't have enough, because we don't even know who's the protagonist.
We don't know anything.
Now.
Batman.
We think maybe, what's her name?
Shuri?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, it's definitely in my top 10. It's higher than 10. But again, that's just based off of name, because that's all we have, So it's definitely one that I'm excited for, and one of the ones I'm intrigued about, just to see who's going to, if at all, take up the mantle of Black Panther.
Right.
Batman.
Yeah.
Oh, number 10? I didn't do
Well,
this.
no. I mean, how do you feel about...
I'm excited for it. It's going to be a fun time. Well, fun time's a weird way, but it's always... I've grown to appreciate Black Panther more and more, unfortunately. And we'll eventually do a whole episode on the Marvel formula and how even when they do things that are new and fresh, they still have to hit their check marks.
Right.
What's the series that I watched? Pitch Meetings. They did one for Shang-Chi.
Oh, yes.
And at the end, they're like going through their checklist. They're like, does he take off his shirt for a gratuitous six-pack shot? Yeah. Can we do a CGI fight at the end that's colorful yet somehow dull at the same time?
I saw that one too.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
things like that. Marvel movies always excite me. They're always a guaranteed good time.
But yeah, there are some paint by numbers that is going on there.
Yes.
I am excited for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and I think this is the main reason it's in my top 10 is Ryan Coogler. He's an amazing director. I loved Fruitvale Station.
Yes.
I did see Creed. That's right, and it was way better than I thought it was going to be.
Creed's a good time.
It was way better than I had any expectations for at all. So I know it's in good hands with him, and so I'm excited because of Ryan Coogler.
Okay. Yep. I agree.
Okay, number 9, Secret Invasion. Now hold on. All right. Follow my logic here. Ready? Here are the people that are involved in it.
Me.
Okay. Of course, we know Sam Jackson.
Yep.
We know Ben Mendelsohn, who played Talos.
Mm-hmm.
Amelia Clarke from Game of Thrones. Now, I know you guys aren't Game of Thrones people, but that is...
I've seen some Amelia Clarke fans.
You've seen some of Amelia Clarke?
I've seen some of her scenes.
I've seen some of Amelia Clarke. The parts that aren't on network television.
I've seen some scenes.
And Olivia Colman, who I'm a big fan of too, and she always puts in reliable work. Now, I don't know what she's going to be doing in it. I just saw her the other day in a Netflix film called The Lost Daughter, which was
Did they find her?
Spoilers.
So Olivia dude. And I know it's in good hands with that group. So I know nothing about it other than, what's in the comics, obviously. Mm-hmm. But just seeing those 4 names, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so on board.
I am worried that... So, for those of you guys who don't know, Secret Invasion was a story in the comics where the Skrulls invade Earth and they take over the mantles of some of the most famous heroes, and it turns into a whole big thing. This is Secret Invasion, not Secret Wars. A lot of people get them confused. Mm-hmm. Secret Wars is the superheroes versus supervillains, where Spider-Man got his first, got the black suit and all that. But Secret Invasion, they backtracked on with Captain Marvel by making it the twist, like the Mandarin, where the Skrulls actually weren't bad guys and they weren't here to do these things. And Nick Fury's working with them at the end of Spider-Man. I am afraid that they are going to be like, well, let's please the fanboys and backtrack on all of that and make the Skrulls actually the bad guys again.
Gaslight us, aren't they?
So that's my concern with it. Also, as much as I love Sam Jackson, he's definitely starting to really show his age with all this stuff, and it's like watching him fight in Captain Marvel.
I was just going to bring that up.
Those scenes are rough.
Seeing him run.
Yeah, he's great in Spider-Man Far From Home.
Right.
Yes. He was great, but that's only because he was the background spy character.
Yeah. Seeing a de-aged Sam Jackson in Captain Marvel trying to do de-aged stuff didn't work.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about it, to be honest with you, with Secret Invasion. Just it's falling underneath those things of we don't know anything, so it's in a way hard to get excited just based off of the name. Like Paul was saying, we've basically that storyline can't happen in the MCU, so this has to be something that's not connected, but is still connected because you have Sam Jackson as Nick Fury. So it's like it's just gonna be a little confusing to see how they do it. Maybe it's a different part of the multiverse or what they decide to do, but we'll see, I guess.
All right. Below that, number 8, which is we don't have a date on that yet. Oh, we also, I should say, we don't have a date on Secret Invasion either. Number 8, Moon Knight. Now, I'm excited for it because of the actors, again, Oscar Isaacs and Ethan Hawke. Yes. And I think it's going to be a great show. I'm worried that it's going to be too Batman derivative, though.
Well, because Moon Knight is Marvel's Batman.
Yeah.
Just crazier, if that's possible.
Is in what way? I don't know enough.
He has dissociative identity disorder.
Oh, right.
So he's like, I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody who actually suffers from something, but he has real, like, other mental issues. So basically, as many mental issues as Batman has, Moon Knight has different ones. They're both very unstable, though, and they're very notorious for their levels of violence.
At night.
And he's rich.
He's rich. Which helps a little.
Yeah.
Rich and no parents.
That's a perfect formula, isn't it? Yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't know.
I am excited for it. I do love me some Batman. So, I mean, basically, you're having the Marvel basic of Batman. So I'm intrigued to see where it goes, but also, what?
I'm sensing derision.
Hey, you had your turn to speak.
I didn't say my thoughts. I gave an explanation.
Yeah, but you're kind of.
Anyway, I will.
You're throwing shade.
No, I'm intrigued to see where it goes. I'm just curious to see, is it going to connect to the MCU in any way?
Now, coming off of the high that Hawkeye was for us, do you think does that give you more faith in Moon Knight?
No.
Ooh. I'll let you answer that first, and then Paul's got a lot to say.
I don't know, to be honest with you, because we've had misses. Like, to me, Loki was a miss. I think Falcon and Winter Soldier was a hit. Hawkeye was a hit, depending on who you talk to. WandaVision was a hit. Some people didn't like it. So, I mean...
And then there's What If.
And then there's What If that we don't speak of. So it's like they've had 2 misses and 3 hits, you could say. So, I mean, they're slightly doing above average. So, I mean, we'll see how it does.
My concern is Moon Knight is a very Netflix appropriate property.
Like Daredevil.
Marvel, as much as we do love Marvel, and I'm not a Marvel hater by any stretch of the imagination, but I like to be objective too. Same thing with DC. I'll be objective about DC and talk about their flaws. The problem is on Disney Plus, the same streaming service that brings you things like
Mighty
warning.
Ducks.
Yeah. Warning, this is a product of its times and should not be taken. Like, the problem is you got Moon Knight, who is Daredevil levels of brutality, even more so. Like him, and he's more like the Punisher. They're gonna play. They can only go so far on Disney Plus, and they've proven that. Even with Kingpin, as much as we love seeing Kingpin on Hawkeye, he was still, I don't want to say goofy, but like he wasn't the same. It didn't feel the same. And like there's talk about, Batman just became a PG-13 movie.
Right.
They officially rated it, which we see in the trailers. We're like, can they do that? Like, say what you will about Ben Affleck's Batman, but he was what Batman would be.
And I should point out that the director's version of the one with Batman, is R.
It is R, and that's the warehouse scene is different in that. There's a lot more blood. I hate to say it, it's more realistic. Everybody loves the Dark Knight Returns, the comic book, and Batman's vicious in it. So I that's the one problem that I have, especially with DC, where they've done it a little bit better in DC, where each character feels a little bit different. The Marvel characters, they all kind of follow. Like, it wasn't until Spider-Man No Way Home, mild spoilers, but where Tom Holland's Spider-Man finally got brutal.
Yeah.
And there's some brutal fight scenes in that movie. So that's my concern with Moon Knight, that they're still a very PG to PG-13 streaming service and property.
So next on my list here is one that I don't know if we need to talk much about it, because I don't know if there's much to say about it, but I think we'll all agree that we're excited for this. Thor: Love and Thunder.
I'm not excited for it. I'm just kidding. I'm so excited.
I was going to say, that's a lie.
I know.
That's my number 3.
Really quick, just going. That's your number 3.
That's my number 3.
Oh, really quick, going through the list of people that are in this. First of all, of course, you've got Valkyrie and Thor. Peter Quill is on this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Christian Bale as Gore the God Butcher.
Yep.
You've got, of course, Korg. You have Nebula is going to be in it. Of course, Jane Foster, who is doing. What is her official?
Lady Thor.
It is Lady Thor. I didn't
Lady
want to
Thor.
sound ignorant by saying that.
The Mighty Thor, I think she's also been called.
Okay. You have Russell Crowe as Zeus. Luke Hemsworth. It's going to be it. Just the fact that he's in it. Sean Gunn as Kraglin. So, this is, really a big ensemble.
Which I'm fine with. It works for Thor Ragnarok.
Right.
I mean, look at
Did you say Matt Damon?
Matt Damon.
He's going to be in it.
And Matt Damon will be in it again.
Matt Damon.
And Matt Damon.
I find that Thor is one of the perfect examples of... Because you watch these MCU movies especially, and you're like, why isn't so-and-so helping?
Right.
Like, we complains about Spider-Man No Way Home and Hawkeye, where it feels like the last scene should have really correlated with each other.
Yeah.
Like, and we were so hyped for it. Even after seeing such an amazing movie, we were still like, oh... Is he going to help him?
And I think the last Thor movie was indicative of how a director can juggle multiple different things going on at
just
once.
like Civil War.
Yeah. And Taika Waititi is, he's an amazing director. He's done so many great things. And he's coming off of, being in the Academy Awards, too, for his piece with... Oh, thank you, Jojo Rabbit.
Jojo Rabbit.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we're all excited about that one.
Yes.
And number 6... The Sandman.
I'm excited for. I'm mildly excited for it. I like the Sandman comics.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously it's where Lucifer from the Netflix show got his start, his origin. So we're gonna see, the more comic accurate. Because as much as we love the Lucifer Netflix show, you can also listen to our episode on that. That's in our archives. As much as we loved it, it is not an accurate depiction of Lucifer the character.
Not in the slightest.
So it'll be interesting to see, because
just the fact that he owns a nightclub. That's about it.
Called Lux.
Yep.
Isn't he supposed to be blonde? They make fun of that in the show, that he's supposed to be blonde.
Any thoughts on Sandman?
I'm not even that tired.
No, this is nowhere near on my list.
Okay.
To be honest with you, there's nothing that comes to me for it. Like, you guys have both watched Lucifer.
Right.
I've not watched it, so it's like I have no desire.
No dog in the fight.
Exactly.
I've read, I think, all of the Sandman comics. And they're so esoteric and so out there that I don't see how it could possibly be adapted. So that's why it's more of a curiosity factor for me. Like, even if it's terrible, at least they tried. So, all right. Here we go. Top 5. Umbrella Academy Season 3. I am a huge Umbrella Academy fan. I cannot wait for the Sparrows, which is the alternate Umbrella Academy that they're coming in. And I've seen they just released posters for their characters, and they're hysterical. Mm-hmm. So I think Umbrella Academy is one of the most consistently funny shows that is on television that can mix action and comedy. Any Umbrella Academy feelings, Ronnie?
No, I tried watching season 1 and I just couldn't
get
so I mean, I have, again, it's one of those things that
what turned you off?
There was just nothing that made me want to sit down and watch it. I was watching it, at times I was finding myself watching it and then going like on my phone and being like, wait, what happened? I just could not connect at all with it.
Okay.
I liked seasons 1 and 2. I really did enjoy them. I think that the only thing that's not making me excited about it is Netflix is killing us with these long breaks in between the shows. It is really hard. Even The Witcher, which we loved. I love season 2 of The Witcher. I think I even mentioned it during that episode. I was like, it was 2 years between seasons. And just to get 8 episodes.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm much more of a watch an episode every year, watch, my shows episode by episode. I can't binge watch. I'm not a binge watcher. I think maybe when the trailer comes out, I'll get excited, but...
Why do you think there's such time in between for Netflix? Is it COVID or is
COVID was a big factor. It definitely slowed down production on everything, TV shows included. I think the problem is Netflix doesn't have a time limit to put their shows out.
That's true.
channels like the CW had to put out everything for its next season. They have to. Like, that's part of, their advertising. That's how they make money. So for me, for a lot of those shows, and you can see that they were filmed COVID style, where a lot of actors don't even share the screen together, much less, anything else. So Netflix and the streaming services are able to, all right, well, we're just going to release it whenever. People are still paying monthly for us. And I think that's their biggest issue. I mean, or if you look at Stranger Things, which is, I don't even remember.
Yeah, it's been.
I couldn't even do words.
Yeah.
Edit.
I wonder. Nope. Yeah, I wonder why there's so much. I think because here's the thing. And we were actually just talking off air before this about ranking our sort of streaming services, and we all kind of put Netflix a little bit low on our required
It used to be
streaming.
the streaming service.
I think because in any given month there's like one good thing and then 30 rom-coms. And it doesn't really translate. All right, number 4, Ms. Marvel, which I'm sure is not at all on your list at all.
I understand the appeal of Kamala Khan and Miss Marvel as a character. I think I was just so turned off by the Captain Marvel movie, which is it's wildly okay.
I don't disagree with you.
So like it's hard for me to get excited, especially about a sidekick or a side character of a character who I didn't like to begin with.
Right.
Yeah.
So Captain Marvel, the movie was okay, and it had a lot of enjoyable parts, but then Captain Marvel herself just became very unlikable.
Yeah.
In Avengers Endgame, I'm kind of like, why is she being so... And then, they Superman her.
Yeah, and it kind of shocks me a little bit, too, because Brie Larson is such a reliable actress. And she's done so many great things and can project, empathy, but it does come across as kind of cold at times.
Yeah. The only thing that's kind of working for this show is the fact that it's gonna kind of sort of set up the Marvels. That's about it. It's not on my list. To be honest with you, a lot of the Disney Plus shows are like either bottom of my top 10 or not even.
All right, so now I'm gonna make you guess what's in my top 3.
All right, I'm gonna say your top 3 involves the Batman.
Yes.
Doctor Strange.
Yes.
And
you're 2 out of 3. Which are those?
And then She-Hulk.
Wow, you got them.
Wow, well done.
Well done.
To rank them, ready?
Yeah.
Doctor Strange is your top.
Yep.
Batman.
Yep.
And then She-Hulk.
Wow, he nailed it. Yeah, She-Hulk is my number 3 because Tatiana Maslany is just amazing, and to have a legal drama comedy, I'm hoping brings in Matt Murdock.
I think it will.
There's a lot of things like theories floating around about Matt Murdock. To introduce spoilers to introduce him in Spider-Man No Way Home and Kingpin basically the same week into the MCU proper. A lot of theories, a lot of things are floating around. I have no problem with those characters being ancillary characters in other products.
Yes.
Matt Murdock and Daredevil are a perfect example. Put him in a Spider-Man movie, put him in the She-Hulk TV show. I'm just
acknowledge that he's lives next door to them.
I told you I'm an excellent lawyer.
Yeah.
My fear for She-Hulk is the same reason that, when we did our character study on the Hulk, how much they, for lack of a better term, neutered the Hulk. And really, again, that's the Marvel challenge where, you watch the Incredible Hulk, where he is, that is the better, as much as I love the Hulk and some of the other things, the Incredible Hulk is the best representation of the actual Hulk.
Yeah.
All right, knife fight me on this one. Ready? Doctor Strange is more exciting than the Batman.
Why are we going to knife fight about that? I think that's a legitimate statement.
Oh, really? You would agree with that?
I would agree with it. However, I think I'm more excited for the Batman.
Why?
I think just it seems like it to be a fresh take on Batman, one that we haven't seen in anything so far. And hopefully with it, it kind of kickstarts DC in the right path, which I feel like is a strong possibility, especially since it's on probably all of ours top. One between 3 possibly for all of us, I'm assuming. Well, obviously we know for Rob, but
Matt Reeves is directing it, right?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, he's obviously legitimate, and we can rely on him, and he's going to do a great job with it. So I think for me, for the Batman, it's another Batman.
Yeah.
Like how many Batmans have we had in the past 20 years? So
I don't know how many Spider-Man have we had, and we all kind of enjoyed that one.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that one.
So it's interesting you say that because Doctor Strange is actually, I think, my number 4.
Wow.
And I will explain a simple explanation.
Oh, please do.
we have been lied to about this multiverse stuff now more than once. And we have gotten very excited for this multiverse stuff more than once. Loki was one of my biggest disappointments because they promised us this multiverse stuff. Then they saved it for the last 2 episodes, and it had nothing to do with the show.
Yeah.
It was another Marvel, look what we're setting up in another movie. Except it was the ending credits, like the last scene. So for me, it's weird because like as a DC fan, DC tackled the multiverse years ago. They started with the Flash, and they did a great job on the Flash. It got goofy and overcomplicated, and they had to do their Crisis. But like they were not afraid to tackle that on DC and bring in older properties. Marvel is really... It's weird. DC, as messy as they are, a lot of things they are very early to the gate to. First female-led superhero movie, and I hate to say it, Wonder Woman was better than Black Widow movie-wise.
Oh, agreed.
Yes.
You know,
also, 1000%. They've got LGBTQ characters with like Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn.
They've been very ahead of the curve at DC, which is strange considering how Marvel, when they first came out, was like, look at our very relatable characters.
Yeah, and they were all white men.
Well, no, relatable characters in terms of like Peter Parker was a broke college kid, like who just happened to be a superhero, and he had to find that balance. You know, DC was, I always say DC has gods, Marvel has superheroes. Like it's a difference in just the way that they write and the way that they're portrayed. So for me, I don't want to get too excited about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, especially with all the rumors going around. It's like,
with the reshoots?
Not even reshoots. I don't mind reshoots.
Okay.
Reshoots, and we've said this in more than one episode, that reshoots are not indicative that a movie is going to be bad. It is something with the test audiences, maybe something wrong with in the initial production that they didn't notice, or something like a lot of rumors. Spider-Man No Way Home was so successful that they want to do other things with it. The biggest, like, there are rumors that Ben Affleck's going to reprise his role as Daredevil in it. Like, those are the level of rumors and stories that are coming out, and I'm like, I don't want to get excited because otherwise, imagine if this movie is just evil Doctor Strange.
Here's what I'm excited about. Evil Doctor Strange, and I'm trying to keep my expectations realistic. I know it's Sam Raimi, so I'm hoping to get an MCU Evil Dead kind of horror film.
I don't think we will though, because Marvel has.
It's possible,
Marvel's, and it's funny because James Gunn just did an article where he specifically said that Marvel and DC both did not tell him what he had to do. There are so many videos of like the stars doing interviews and saying something and then looking at Kevin Feige like he's about to smack them. Joss Whedon was notorious about like, they made me do all these things, and my challenge is, as many times as we get different directors that add different styles, it's very rare to get a movie in the MCU that feels different. Thor Ragnarok felt different. So I'm hoping, but again,
after seeing these two, it is entirely possible I might like the Batman more than Doctor Strange. So
again, they're both like up there. I'm excited to see and watch both of them. Like I said before, though, I'm more excited for the Batman than I am Doctor Strange. Again, with Doctor Strange, it's just, even though we got a trailer and it comes out in 5 months, a little less than 5 months, we've seen a lot more for the Batman than we have, so it's building the excitement more than Doctor Strange. But
the Batman's my number one.
Yes.
Okay. I figured it would be.
Batman's my number one because and I'm not like the biggest Batman fan. Like, I really enjoy Batman, but I've always liked Nightwing better. But this is a great look at the detective side of Batman, the more brutal side of Batman,
the gritty side,
and I'm excited for it. And I feel like it's going to be different. We grew up in a very strange time of Batman. Where you go from Batman with Michael Keaton to Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
So, is there any that I missed that you're excited about?
I'm surprised Paul didn't bring up Legends of Tomorrow.
I have not been watching.
Oh no,
I will be honest.
I fell off the
last
map.
season. The only show that I'm watching, I'm trying to catch up on Stargirl because I really do enjoy Stargirl, and Superman and Lois is my number one because I watched Flash Armageddon and it was again wildly okay.
Yeah. I mean, some other things on here that I'm surprised. Again, a lot of the stuff is HBO Max, like Titans, Doom Patrol. Batwoman comes out. I know that's not HBO Max, but
Harley Quinn season 3.
Harley Quinn, Pennyworth. There's a Young Justice Phantoms. There's a lot of stuff that's coming out on HBO Max.
Yeah.
They have a lot coming, within the first almost 6 months or so.
I'll lend you $10.
Yeah. So
and that's the fun thing is that we're living in a great time. There's just a lot of stuff here.
Yeah.
So that's going to wrap up this discussion. And before we go, though, we've got a fan feedback Friday that Paul's going to take us through. Paul, what was this week's question?
So this one was very simple, and this has been a big topic of discussion, and I love this topic of discussion. There's a question of if we could get an Amazing Spider-Man 3 or a Spider-Man 4, which one would you prefer?
The first one being with
Andrew Garfield,
and the second one being with
Tobey Maguire. Right. So basically, they're unproduced sequel, right? Because they were both supposed to get sequels. Their story details have come out, but given the success, especially of Andrew Garfield in the most recent Spider-Man, it's been out for 2 months, guys. You all know he's in it. But if you're listening to a comic book podcast, you know. So the question was, what would you prefer, or if you would prefer a story that hasn't been told yet? So we have The Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah, he kind of ran away with this one, not going to lie.
Yeah.
Green Lantern.
You're
That's
welcome.
That's fair. Yeah. But more as a redo than a sequel. I mean, almost like the Suicide Squad, they could do it like that.
Yeah.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
I don't know if that... they're getting one. It's awesome. I'm going to argue this one. We never really finished the Chris Evans Fantastic Four trilogy.
We didn't.
I'm fine with it.
I would like to refer to it as the Fantastic Four trilogy.
He's another rumor. Oh, no, Ian Gruffield is another rumor for Doctor Strange.
Oh, yeah.
As Mr. Fantastic,
okay.
Yeah. Rob's comic book class voted 5-0 Garfield.
They were unanimous on that one.
Which I think he did not get to tell his story. And especially in Spider-Man Far No Way Home, there's so much more there.
When all three are on the screen, he stole the show.
Oh, he definitely did.
And another reason,
Peter 3.
Yeah, and another reason why, me personally, chose Andrew Garfield over Tobey Maguire's. I think Tobey's way too old.
I think also Tobey, he got his.
And he got his story.
He got his moment. There was closure there.
Yes. I wouldn't mind seeing a Logan style with him. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Cool. But I really want to. I think Andrew Garfield deserves a real shot at it, especially if he does a movie where Sony doesn't care about the Sony universe.
Yeah.
I've said it years ago that he was the best Spider-Man in the worst Spider-Man movies. Tank Girl 2, that's funny.
I'm still swearing on Tank Girl.
Ghost Rider 3, we have not talked about Ghost Rider, and I think that would be a great episode.
Now, I showed today, because I mentioned Ghost Rider to my comic book class, and they were like, we don't know what that is. And so I showed them the trailer for the second Ghost Rider, and they're like, that looks awesome. I said, yeah, that's the problem.
It was not.
It looked awesome.
But then they killed it in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. with Ghost Rider. He was fantastic, and he stole the show.
Robbie Reyes,
Yeah.
Elektra.
Oh.
Sorry, I had to. We were talking about bad movies, right?
Yeah. But anyway, I showed them Ghost Rider, and they're like, yeah, there looks like a lot of potential there for some
Ghost
great
Rider,
stuff.
Yeah. And last but not least, Howard the Duck 2. I would see it.
Oh, my God.
Wow, that's a sequel that's been trying to happen for, 30, 40 years?
We don't talk about it.
So that is going to wrap up this episode. Again, if you are looking to how you can listen to us, you can listen to us on Podbean, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, or any other listening stations. You should also check us out on the misfitfaction.com, which now has reviews by 2 authors.
I did one.
We increased our authorship by 100%.
Technically, yes.
Yes. So thank you so much for listening. We are looking forward to hearing back from you on any of our feedback. If you have anything, want to get in touch with us, you can get in touch with us through our website or on any of our social media. And as always, I am forgetting anything? No, I don't think I am.
Nope.
I feel like I am.
Name Rob.
Oh, yes. As always, I am Rob.
Ronnie.
And I'm Paul.
And we'll be back in a flash.
See ya.